The Kardashians have done amazing at taking stuff away. They reverse BBLs.
It was a weird time in my life.
If you don't like it, when's the last time you used that in someone's lips?
Look at your friend and see if she needs her lip filler dissolved.
I think that's just not supposed to be there.
Girlfriend, I've got you.
Patients will respect you more if you tell them no.
Friend, you have a ton of filler.
Welcome to Fill and Tell, where we spill the tea on all things aesthetics.
We're your hosts. I'm Megan.
And I'm Lauren.
We're here to give you the inside scoop on what goes on behind the treatment room door.
From filler to facelifts, skincare to aesthetic secrets.
We're taking you behind the scenes of the industry with unfiltered conversations, expert insights, and maybe a little gossip along the way. Oftentimes, we talk to you about what to add. Cheek filler, chin filler, all of the injectables, but today we're going to talk about potentially taking away. Dissolving has been a trendy keyword lately, you know, people dissolving their lip filler, and we want to talk about the ins and outs of dissolving, when it's appropriate, who's the right candidate, talk you through the fears around dissolving, because I know that comes with a lot of fear, and anything you could want to know about dissolving your filler.
I think celebrities have done such a beautiful job at being, maybe they're not all transparent, but they're coming out with their filler dissolved, and they all look so much better.
Yes.
Recently, and I feel so bad because I actually don't know her real name, Charlotte from Sex and the City. I just saw a picture of her. She was looking puffy for a while, like a long time. And I just saw a photo of her and she looks amazing. She had all of her filler just about reversed. I'm sure she had some other stuff obviously refilled, but this photo looked phenomenal. Lindsay Lohan, we've seen have such an amazing transformation by taking stuff away. The Kardashians have done amazing at taking stuff away. They reverse BBLs. So like you can have a moment and then you can come back from it too. So I've been really impressed with the celebrity transformations of dissolving.
And we have some personal experiences. I guess you've had dissolving. I've had dissolving.
Yeah.
I blame myself. I made Lauren put too much filler. I literally did. I made her put more and more filler in like my chin shadow area when we were filling my chin. It was a weird time in my life. I just felt like I needed more filler, and I was maybe trying to
cover up some
emotional turmoil, okay? And that's not what you want to do. And I learned my lesson. We dissolved it. Yeah. It was very easy. Lauren got to a point where we wanted to start fresh on her lips. This is a great way to start fresh on your lips.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
So we did do that. Okay, so let's get into like what filler is. It's, you know, it's a hyaluronic acid-based product. We are not talking about Sculptra or Radiesse when we're talking about dissolving. Those are more of your permanent fillers.
Yeah, we can certainly like erase an issue, you know, but it's not something that we're typically dissolving. So we're really talking about your Juvederm collection, your Restylane collection, your RHA fillers, that hyaluronic acid. And hyaluronic acid is very biocompatible, so you find it in knees and elbows, shoulders. So it's a sugar compound that we've made, turned it into a injectable, but it can easily be dissolved.
Yes. You know, we have hyaluronic acid in our skin. That's what gives it moisture. That's what gives it a little bit of strength and that bounciness. But when we inject it, the chances of it moving are actually pretty slim. But if it gets a little bit displaced or things just start to just look a little bit wonky, then that's where we want to dissolve. So generally speaking, your thinner products will probably metabolize out on their own.
Or dissolve easily, more easy.
Yeah, we're talking about usually like those thicker products that need kind of that oomph.
Yes. And so the enzyme that we use is hyaluronidase. So, and that's interesting because all the enzymes in your body have that ASC or ASCE on the end. ACE. So like lipase, things that break down your food, all of these things. So this breaks down filler. If you ever hear that, it breaks things down. And so Hylenex is the specific brand that we use. And you actually don't have to patch test Hylenex like you do some of the other brands because some people can have allergies to them. So Hylenex is generally safe for everybody. and you can kind of use it for any dissolving.
Yeah,
which is
so
nice.
basically it just breaks down that hyaluronic acid that's in our fillers so that our body can reabsorb the rest.
Correct.
It works very quickly within a matter of minutes, and then it continues to degrade that hyaluronic acid within a
Over a
matter of
few
hours. Yeah,
days.
hours and then days.
Yes.
So you do get like a temporary sort of flattening or deflation in some of the areas, especially if you are used to having 2 to 3 syringes in your lips. Like you will notice some of that crepey skin coming back, some of what I would like to call deflation. And so I think it's also important to note the time in which you want to wait to refill.
Yeah, I think at least 2 weeks. But I have found that you need multiple sessions of dissolving sometimes, especially if you've had prolonged filler over 10 years.
I agree.
You just can't get rid of it all in one session. And so you need to be prepared to have multiple sessions. In the rare chance that you get it one and done, yes, minimum 2 weeks before we're refilling to just allow that tissue to shrink and then naturally bounce back, because your natural HA gets dissolved too, actually, with this enzyme, and it takes a couple of days for it to kind of rebuild itself back up.
And I love that you pointed that out, because while it's a great magic eraser, we don't want to overuse it. We don't want to use it just willy-nilly, because it does degrade your own hyaluronic acid. And while the chances of it replenishing is very reasonable and there, yeah, again,
just don't do it. You don't need to do it unnecessarily.
We don't use this to remove filler because you are. How do I put this? Of course, we would use it if you didn't like it or if there was a complication, but we don't just throw it out there that. If you don't like it, that's not what we use it for. It is one, for emergent purposes, which we'll get into, and 2, if we want to start fresh.
Right.
3, if you look disfigured and we need to remove it. Okay.
Right. So when to consider? When do you consider getting filler dissolved?
Number 1, we want to use Hylenex if there's a vascular occlusion. I think that's the most important one.
Yeah, we'll go ahead and knock that one out.
Yeah, if filler gets
that's the least fun.
a real risk of filler, and all of your injectors should be educating you on this. Filler is a
gel.
A gel. Yeah. Great. I couldn't think of that word. It's
jelly.
A gel. And so this can block the blood flow of your vessels.
Yeah.
We're
just
injecting.
Sits in there like a little gum stuck to the undersurface, and nothing can get through.
Nothing can get through. You can think of it as a blood clot, or you can think of it as, a clogged artery. It truly clogs that vessel. Blood carries oxygen. The oxygen can't get to our skin, and we can get necrosis.
Right.
So
we'll go ahead and get that one out of the way. That's the want of this whole one.
If you notice a change in color, of course, if you notice a change in your vision, these are all very emergent reasons to contact your provider if you're not there anymore.
Right.
So I feel like the most common one is migration. We see this in lips or under eyes.
Yeah. And typically I hate throwing people under the bus. You're like, I've done it. I've dissolved my own work before, and I'm fine to say that, and I'm fine to do it when it needs to be done. But it is sometimes just the placement of it, and poor placement, and sometimes poor product choice, and you don't know what you don't know until you do it, and then you get it wrong. But, it happens, and lips don't migrate just naturally. Like, they normally migrate because you've put too much, you've used the wrong product, they've been injected way too many times over and over again without somebody telling them no.
But I will say, though, I feel like we were very reasonable with your lips.
But I think we used not a great product, to be honest.
True. Okay, we have switched our products that we use in lips.
When's the last time you used that in someone's lips? I don't want to call people out, but I would never use that in someone's lips. We don't use that.
Now. Okay, yeah, okay, valid.
Yeah.
Valid.
So I don't think you did a bad job, but I don't necessarily think that product, it pulls a lot of water. So some of these hyaluronic acids pull in a ton of water, and then some don't pull any water. The products we use a lot now in lips don't pull a lot of water. They sit exactly where you put them. They're very precise, and they look beautiful.
Yeah, I'm of the mindset that you'll have some swelling after lip filler, but you should not blow up. I feel like when you get so much swelling, that will naturally displace your filler. I don't agree with that. I don't like the intense water pulling in some of the lip fillers.
And that's your product choice, I think, right there.
Yep. Second reason to dissolve, of course, the overfilled look. Yeah. The pillow face, just too much, unnatural proportions. This is a great time to go for a refresh.
Yeah, when your pictures, I mean, this is what, you notice. Your pictures don't look normal. You see weird shadows, you're seeing bulkiness, you can't smile fully, you're blunted, then that's a good indication that something's been put too much or in the wrong plane, and you need to you need to just take it out because it just doesn't look good.
Agree. A show that's very popular right now that's trending is Love Island.
I know, I wish I would have watched it.
I don't watch
any
it.
of it, so I can't. I don't have
I
much
can't
commentary.
talk on besides that I've seen other injectors talk about it, and I've seen their photos. I guess there's a girl on there that's super young, and she looks...
They're all young. And
oh,
they all
okay.
look
So they're all
older.
like early 20s, and they look like they're 30, 35. Guys, filler can do wonders and make you look younger, but it can also do the opposite and make you look older.
Right, too much volume, too puffy, just kind of distorts everything, and it doesn't make you look younger at all. And they all looked older than what they actually were, which was crazy.
Crazy. Next one, one that we have run into before we really stopped doing tear troughs is the Tyndall effect.
I see so much Tyndall in people, and I want to dissolve it. Patients will be willing to keep the blue hue. So Tyndall is bluish hue. Like, we'll put a picture up of what Tyndall looks like. It is, you have that really thin skin and it looks blue under the eye after you've had filler. So that light is hitting and it's kind of showing this bluish hue. Patients, I have told them, let's dissolve it. They're willing to keep the Tyndall because they have the volume.
Yes. I mean, I'll be completely honest here. I have a patient that she's one of a good friend of mine now. I feel like at this point, our same age, she, I think we've done her cheeks, we've done her tear troughs like once. She has Tyndall. We both like see it. I'm like, when do you want to dissolve this? She's like, I don't think. I like the fullness. I hated my tear troughs.
Right.
Her tear troughs looked phenomenal at first.
Yeah.
And then it's like 6 months in and you see that Tyndall. I immediately told her about it. I was like, look, this is what has happened. I'm happy to dissolve it for you. She's like, I'm good for now.
I'm good.
I'm like, okay, well, it's benign. It's not going to cause any issues. It can pull water and
also like, if you ever want to go makeup free, it's hard to do with the blue hue under your eye.
No, she honestly feels like she can go makeup free more now.
Oh,
because it's like, it's like a different darkness to her. Okay. So, but that's an anomaly.
Yeah. So when you're doing a tear trough, you have to be pretty deep. You can't be that deep because in the true tear trough is just skin, muscle, bone. That's it. There's no fat layer to put filler. So if you're right under the skin, you're going to see blue. If you're deep, you're going to be in the muscle, so you can't put much because then that's how you're getting this migration, really.
Yeah.
And it will look bad over time. Tear troughs look fantastic. 6 months later, they can look bad. 5 years later, they can come in and they looked fantastic for 5 years, and now they don't. And it's just kind of a part of it.
A little plug, we love PDGF for the tear troughs now.
They have transformed the tear trough. I dissolved someone's tear trough, put PDGF in, 2 weeks later, it looks like she has tear trough filler again.
Love it.
So I love that too.
Another reason to dissolve is if you develop a nodule, a lump, or any asymmetries, you would want to dissolve.
Common in the lip, I think. So you may come in. I always tell patients with lip filler, like, give it a full month because a lot of lumps and bumps in the lips can be, you can feel it and it can be normal.
Yeah.
If it hasn't really integrated at that month, you consider just popping a little bit of dissolver right into that area. You don't have to do the whole thing. It's not like you got to start all over, but just in that little tiny bump there.
Yep. Another one, emotional dissatisfaction.
I feel like I have that more than anything. Not with myself, my patients do.
Oh, yeah, I was going to say I've only encountered, one time that comes to mind where the patient was like, I've mentioned it on another episode. It wasn't her whole cheek. It was just like, she just felt like it was a little bit too full right here. So I popped a touch of Hylenex and she's like, oh, that's it. Like, that's perfect. Okay. So
I guess I mean emotional, like it's more in that overfilled look when they don't feel like themselves and they're kind of emotionally disconnected to what they really look like and who they are. So it can take a big emotional toll if you're not feeling like yourself and you just can't figure it out. And until somebody tells you, I think it's your filler, actually.
Well, you had a patient that was feeling that. She felt like she didn't look like herself anymore. She didn't want to be in photos. So you've dissolved how many areas of her face? How many vials of Hylenex?
We did 3 sessions, and I did her whole face, her cheeks, her chin, her lips. And she will message me now all the time. I see her regularly. She's like, I feel like myself again.
love
Like,
that.
I feel like I can smile. I feel like this is like truly like how I'm supposed to look.
She didn't even want the photos taken at the office.
I know. Yeah.
So sad. She's beautiful.
So pretty.
We already kind of covered this, but the last one really is just putting in the wrong filler choice or
we
or
kind
bad
of, like,
technique.
touched on that.
So yeah, those are the most
Biggest
common
things.
when to consider dissolving.
Yeah.
Look at look at your friend and see if she needs her lip filler dissolved.
I know, and don't be afraid to tell her. Just be like, I think that's just not supposed to be there. If you look like a duck, then you've gotten some migrated filler. So fullness above the lip, those little folds that start to happen, chunkiness, fullness, puffiness. All of those are reasons to consider definitely dissolving.
So what can you expect during and after dissolving? I did not know that this was such a big deal until my patient came in and she's like, Megan, I have spiraled down TikTok. I've seen all of these people who have had these horrible experiences. They look like they were injected with helium in their lips.
Oh, yeah.
It's so painful. I was like, it's not. Like, girlfriend, I've got you.
Yeah.
We're going to do a dental block. We're going to put some topical numbing on. You're going to be a little bit swollen for this hour or two. And then what's the opposite? Hylenex is the opposite of lip filler in that it swells right away and then goes down, whereas typically lip filler, you'll get swollen kind of throughout the rest of that day. So,
yeah, and I mean, it's swollen because it's breaking down all of that hyaluronic acid, and as hyaluronic acid breaks down, it pulls in water.
Yep.
So that's why you get that initial swelling, but within a couple of hours, it's gone. Like, I've had my lips dissolve twice. It's puffy right away, and then 2 hours later, it looks normal. I will say that the sting is a smidge. It exists, and so adding in a little bit of bicarb, for injectors, or even just like a little bit of lidocaine, the jury's out on like, does it break down the product enough? But I think if it makes your patient comfortable, then it's probably worth it.
Agree. And then you can expect, we've already said, expect some swelling. Some bruising is common just with any injection, even Botox. I mean, the chances of us hitting a blood vessel are there. You have a ton of blood vessels in your face, especially in your periorbital region. So anytime you get an injection around here, expect a bruise. You can be a little bit tender in your lips. Were you tender to the touch?
Yeah, a little bit, but I had like a mustache bruise, which was fine. I covered it up, but like, it does bruise, and I was also like a woo-woo and I was like, let's just not numb. Let's just do it. It was terrible.
We're also going to put that photo up because Lauren
like
thought it was
blowing my face with cold air.
You know what makes it hard on the injector? Because she's in horrible pain. Because
I'm like,
she has no
my gosh, this is the worst thing I've ever done.
Do you want me to dissolve your lips or not?
I know, it probably took longer, honestly, than if I would have just like done a dental block and like moved on with my life.
Yes. I'm not allowing you to make your own choices
my
next
own
time.
decisions anymore.
So the Hylenex works pretty much right away, and then full effect would be a few days.
Yeah.
Would you say?
Yeah, I think so. Biggest thing on not needing to dissolve is just picking the right injector, like going to somebody, again, who you just can trust, who is knowledgeable, who can show you good before and afters, and who can walk you through the process, who always is taking pictures and referring back to how you looked before we started, what you look like now, and can say, no, you do not need more lip filler. No, you do not need more cheek filler. Everything is anatomically filled and you look great. We're not doing anymore because perception drift happens to everybody.
So important. 100% agree. If your injector's not taking photos, I think that's a red flag for me.
Yeah,
yep.
Absolutely.
And then again, just if that injector's maintaining your balance and your anatomical features, then you'll be okay. If you guys are, jumping out of that scope or trying to create these huge cheekbones, then you'll eventually probably need to dissolve.
Yeah.
And I think that goes into like not chasing any trends.
Right. Just having somebody who can say no. I think that injectors are scared to say no. Patients will respect you more if you tell them no. Like, this is just not for you, or it's not time.
Yeah.
And if the patient doesn't, then they're just not the patient for you, and they can kind of move on. But you have to kind of stand your ground, and you have to have some integrity and say no, because it's easy for me to make to make money by saying yes to everything. It doesn't make me money when I say no, but at the end of the day, it's not what's best for you.
Exactly.
So.
And I love that about us. Again, referring back to this young girl, she's beautiful. She came in, she was ready to get a ton of filler. And I was like, friend, you have a ton of filler. Like, you don't need any more filler. It's making you look older.
Yeah.
And I was like, when they've injected your cheeks in the past, have they ever put any here? And she was like, no, never. All she had ever, so truly her temple was hollow. She had these wide cheeks right here, a ton in her chin, a ton in her lips. When I walked out of the room, a few of our colleagues were like, are you going to do filler? I know you probably told her no. And I was like, I'm glad I have that reputation of being honest.
Yeah.
We do have that. So anyways, if you are dealing with migration, if you're dealing with feeling a little bit overfilled or not yourself, know that there is a way to get back to your normal.
Yeah.
Fix the little filler mustache. It is not as bad as you think.
No, it's not. And I think if your injector isn't willing to dissolve, then find someone else who is. Find somebody else who's willing to do that for you. I dissolve everyone if I feel like it needs to be done, whether it's my patient or somebody else's. And I think, especially if I put it in there, you gotta really drop the ego and just say, does this look good or does it not?
Yeah.
That's all that matters. So I agree. If this episode resonates with you, or if you have questions, please DM us. If you have lip filler migration, send us a photo and we'll tell you whether you do or don't. And send this to a friend who you might also think has a little bit of sneaky migration as well.
Yep.
See you guys next time.